What's going on, my friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're going to get into a few altcoins, but right now Bitcoin's sitting at $35,200. We're down about 4%. What I wanted to do today was, number one, just help calm the space down a little bit here. In the last 5 years, I have definitely seen a lot of price action. And what I've noticed is typically once you really get to this fearful level and everybody's saying it's going to zero, and even the people who've been extremely bullish are saying, you know, it's over, it's done. That's typically when we reverse. And how it happens is usually with like a 10% candle that'll come in out of nowhere when people aren't expecting it. And a lot of times it's going to be a bullish engulfing candle that you're looking for, just like we had down in this range here. And this was back in July. So what we had, I would say this was the toughest price action I'd ever been through here, because we almost had like an inverted head and shoulders here. We broke up and then it was a false break and we fell back down. Then we came up here and it was like a lower high, and then we really started to push down and it looked like we were just going to flush through the bottom, and we had a nice bullish engulfing candle, and that set us up for a beautiful move to the upside. And what I've noticed is these trends typically run anywhere from about 70 to 90 days if they're really getting moving here. So if we take a look at the date range before and we pull it down here, we'll look at about 98 days that we are in that correction. So now let's take a look at where we're at right now. So right now we're at 74 days. So we have not been in our correction as long as we were back in here. We still could go a little bit longer, but what you can see is that we're getting to the end of this. Guys, you got to think about it this way. The bulls can only run so far in one direction before they get exhausted. It's same with the bears. So here you can see we had this really nice move up, and then take a look at what we gave back in terms of the price range here. That's a 25% move to the downside. Another thing, if we take a look to the upside moves, we're looking at 73%. And this is what I like to do. I just like to measure them so I can kind of see the length of time and how far they can go. You know, there's 82%. So when we're looking at these things, I'm at least expecting some type of reaction bounce out of Bitcoin and Ethereum and these coins in the next, probably I'd say few days to weeks. We have to let the stock market find a bottom, and then most likely we'll be able to do it. But what I would be anticipating is something getting a bounce out of here like this correction. So this was 25% when we were in an uptrend, so we can correct 25%. What I like to do sometimes is put this on the backside and measure up. So 25% would take us, it would still be a lower high if we did that, but that would still take us to almost $43,000. So what I'm expecting is some type of a bounce that's going to be coming. It's just whether or not it's going to be a reaction bounce and we're going to push lower, or if, you know, that's going to be the actual bounce that gets us to break this trend line with volume and we get moving back to the upside so we can challenge 50,000 and 52,000. You guys know what it is. But right now, you know, we're still just dealing with this downtrend. We have lower highs and lower lows coming in, but I do feel like we've just got too extended to the downside. And many times when you see these super long candles here, that can finish out a move on heavy volume for you before you start getting that reversal. I've noticed that a lot for Bitcoin, and same to the upside. Many times you'll see these candles. Take a look up here, guys, and then we started to drop down. This one here started to drop down. Another large one here started to drop down. So I kind of look at it in reverse. And what I've been doing, I may be a little bit crazy for this, but it's what I've had my most success in. I have been just slowly laddering into this fear. What I've learned is to do it slow, guys. I mean, sometimes it'll be 10 different orders that I'll have down and just riding it down, so I can get a nice average for when the reaction comes. And if I get a reaction and it's on low volume, and it's not something that I see that's going to have continuation, then that's when I'm going to get out. But I'm trying to buy down in these areas here and then sell up into this strength once we do get that bounce, because they always happen, guys. Even look at this after here. We had this big crash from 59,000 all the way down to 30,000, and then take a look at the bounce. I mean, the bounce alone was 35% out of there before we started going back down. So if we measure up 35%, that would take us to 46,000, and that could get us over top of this lower high, which would be important for us. So, you know, this is something where I would be extremely careful. If I'm a new person, I would just more so dollar cost average into these good areas down in this range, just slowly. But when I see daily right now, so let's take a look at daily, the relative strength is going to be at 20, so oversold. When I see 12-hour, it's at 18, oversold. When I see the 4-hour, which is at 19 right now, oversold. 1 hour, We're at 33, which we're not oversold on that. But typically I like to see all those line up. 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, 1 day, and sometimes even the 3-day chart. Take a look at this, guys. I'm just giving you my secrets here, how I play this and how I've been successful with it. But you have to know what to do in terms of playing this reaction bounce. Because if I get a weak one out of here on low volume, then I'm going to sell my position. And that will be what it's going to be. And then I'll look for lower levels. But for me, this has been a really big opportunity when we hit these lower levels. And sometimes you can almost drill the monthly here. So if we go out to the 1 month, what I always like to look at, guys, just kind of freestyling with you here as things come to my mind. So on the 1 month chart, I would at least be expecting a lower high up into this region, even back testing at 52,000 before we potentially go down even farther. That's a potential, right? Or it could be something like this here. So we go up to these levels, get rejected, come back down, high or low, and then we get moving again, and our trend goes to the upside. That's definitely a possibility, but for these 3 months, how we've been pushed so hard to the downside, I would still at least be anticipating a lower high here, which could give us a really nice bounce. Say we do go back up and test that, that's 50% there, guys. That's why I swing trade in this position or in this space. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for long-term holds. Personally, I'm looking for a longer-term swing trade / position trade for this position. We take a look at the week. I mean, we haven't hit these low RSI levels in such a long time, guys. We're back to even almost bear market territory. I just think the bears have went too far, too fast. We're going to end up getting a bounce at some point here. It's just depending on how big the bounce is going to be with what I do and how much volume comes in with it. But, you know, into this fear, I've slowly been laddering into the fear. People can say you're catching a falling knife, but when I see those RSI levels like that, to me, that's a great swing trading opportunity. And none of that's financial advice. That's just my thoughts on the matter. You know, I'm definitely not going to panic sell. So if we take a look at Ethereum here, we're at 3,400. And guys, let me know your opinions down low. And you can definitely wait for confirmation once we start getting over top. Say here we have all these lower highs coming in. Once we start making higher highs and higher lows above, 3,400 for Ethereum, then that would show you a trend change. So it's just how people play. I like to play off that fear, those extreme levels. That's what I like to do. And guys, I don't know if you've ever checked them out. Go to the chart, guys. I've watched Dan over there for probably probably about 4 years now, and he has really helped in terms of my trading and playing these oversold bounces. So he's definitely the man, and he can teach you a lot. So definitely check that channel out. It is underrated by far. So he'll teach you a lot. So for Ethereum here, if we're looking at these levels, guys, we're running into support right now, and this is going to be at roughly about $2,400 going to be support. Then it's going to be down around this $2,000 region. Right now, the relative strength on the 1 day is at 21, so we're almost hitting historic levels there. And guys, that's what I mean. I mean, this is just a massive sell-off, and I think the fear is too much. Yeah, there's fear out there because of the stock market, but it's just been too much. The fear has been too much, in my opinion, and we're at least due for some type of reaction bounce. So for ETH, once we do find the bottom, I would anticipate something like this here, guys, and then back up into this range and see if we can change the trend, which is going to be important. But for ETH, we're looking at the relative strength here. On the 1 day, we're at 21. On the 12-hour, we're going to be at 18. On the 4-hour, we're going to be at 17. And on the 1, we're going to be at 31. And you can see we had some nice buy volume coming in down in this area as well. Also with one of those gold buy balls at the bottom. So that's what I'm looking at for ETH, guys. Really watch these levels. If we bounce back to the 1 day, main levels to pay attention to, that 2,400, and then it's going to be 2,000 to the downside support. And then to the upside, we'd like to get over about 2,700, and then it'd be up to around that $3,000 we're going to have to back test. If we move on here, take a look at Litecoin at 106, getting crushed. Right here, guys, main thing what we want to hold. Get these marks out of here for us. And also, guys, if you get some from these videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Really didn't have anything planned. Just wanted to talk to you about my strategies, what I like to do in the space. I like to buy the extreme fear and sell into the greed. That's what works best for me. If I have to hold it for a little bit, take a little heat while I'm buying at these lower levels, it is what it is. Been there before and it's worked out for me, so I'm not one to panic in these markets anymore. So if we pull this down, we would want to hold. It's going to be about right where we're at, guys. 107 for Litecoin. Relative strength, though, is not as beat up as some of the others like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's sitting at 28 right now for Litecoin, so it definitely could go lower. I mean, there's still a little bit more room there. If we take a look at the 12-hour, we're sitting at 24. The 4-hour is at 20. And then if we take a look at the 1-hour, we're going to be at 34 right now. Big volume just came in here on the 1-hour. Take a look at that, guys. So some other people have the same idea as I do. If we actually can get a bounce out of here, we're going to look at overhead resistance about 126, 130. And then it would be up to around that 154. Last one we're going to do here is ADA. If you're here for ADA, let me know. If you're here for Litecoin, also put LTC down there. So ADA just getting worked here. We need to hold. The main area is going to be $1. That's what we got to hold, is $1. We're not as extreme on our levels. We're at 39 on the daily RSI, so that is a little different there, that we could have more room to go down and test that $1 area. But right now, this candle, obviously we're far from the close. This could be a nice hammer candle. If we can get it bottom out here, I'd look for a bounce. Overhead resistance about 130, and then it'd be up to around that 154. But overall, we have to break out of this blue downtrend line. That's what's going to be most important for us. So just want to make this quick, guys. I love you all. Take care. Don't panic. God bless.